By the time you hit your 50s, you probably think you've already built everything you're going to need for the future. But this is the prime decade, if there ever was one, to double down on the things that your future self is going to depend on, especially the ones you're already starting to lose. Today, I am sharing 7 M's, 7 midlife must-haves that will pay off for the rest of your life, but only if you take advantage of this unique moment in time to stockpile them. Don't let your 50s fly by, because they will, without locking these in. So let's start making those extra deposits today. Number 1 is money. So let's get the obvious one out of the way first. We want our 50s to be the time where we stash more and more acorns for the future. I mean, there may come a time, and will probably come a time, when we can't earn anymore. We'll need to live off of what we've stashed plus Social Security. Can you work overtime, part-time, online, in addition to your regular job? Like me, you may already be doing that. Can you rent out a room? Can you babysit? Can you elder sit? I remember in my 40s wishing that I had the nerve to go out and get a part-time job. But I was so, afraid that someone would see me, my boss or my coworker, and I'd feel ashamed. Now, oh my gosh, I couldn't care more or less about that. This is your time to build your own personal bank, one brick at a time. Whether it's for retirement or emergencies or debt repayment or all of the above. Number 2 is muscles. Oh, you can definitely stockpile your muscle inventory. And Gen Xers, this is the time to do that. We're starting to lose strength, but it doesn't have to be that way. Not yet, anyway. What we may have not had to work very hard for, when we were younger, we do have to fight for it now. Over the age of 50, muscle loss is happening to all of us. The average rate is 1 to 3% every single year. Now you can see over a decade how much that can be. So that is why now is the time to overstock those biceps and triceps and quads. Now you know how to do it. And if you don't have extra time to devote to a strength workout, just think about how you can incorporate it into your day. Just get creative with it. I mean, you can buy one of those weighted vests and just wear that around the house when you're doing things. If you already, walk or do a lot of walking throughout your day, add some ankle weights. One thing you can do on your walk is carry a pair of dumbbells. I have a 5-pound set that I carry around with me sometimes on my walks. And I'm telling you, halfway through the walk, I'm like wanting to just throw them away. It's like, I don't even want to take these back home. They're wearing me out, but it's good. It's good. And it increases your grip strength like you wouldn't believe, because, you're having to hold on to them. Muscles, they do so much for us, and this is not the time to ignore them. Number 3 is meaningful relationships and memories. Friendships are easier when life gives you automatic meetups, such as work or school or kids' activities. In our 50s, many of those built-in moments, they disappear. And sadly, in our 50s, there can be losses that are devastating. Loss of our parents, divorce, empty nest, friends drifting away. With so much working against us in this department in our 50s, is it even possible to stock up now? Yes, but you have to be the one to make it happen. Be the sibling that makes sure all of the family gets together. And also include all of the cousins and the aunts and the uncles. They need the interaction too. And a lot of churches today, they have small groups, and some of them are focused on Bible study, but a lot of them have special interests in mind. There are groups that go hiking or biking. There's a scrapbooking group. And also, what about meetup? Is meetup still a thing? I know that when I had a lot more free time, I did a lot of those meetups locally. I went kayaking. There was one where we went and visited different museums in the area. It's a great way to get out of the house, to meet people. Maybe you won't make any lifelong friends, but then maybe you will. It's like going fishing. You could go out and not catch a thing, come back home empty-handed, or you could go out the next week and get that one big fish that made it all worth it. Number 4 is mobility. Now, I'm in my late 50s currently, and I've always considered myself pretty mobile and flexible. But the last several years, I've not focused on that as much. And I've noticed the ramifications of that. Now, everybody's body is different, but if we don't put our joints and ligaments through certain motions, they do stiffen up. And with injury, they can even freeze up. There are so many great videos on mobility and flexibility, and of course there's over 1 million yoga channels. But just put in the search for mobility workouts. They're a little bit different than yoga. If yoga intimidates you or doesn't interest you, look into some of those mobility workouts. I've done several of them, and they're actually very doable, and a good one will work every single, joint in your body in just one workout. Okay, you don't have time to add a workout. I get it. Then just incorporate it into your day. Ways to stay mobile. While you're brushing your teeth, you can do standing quad stretches. You can even do a deep squat while you're brushing your teeth. Seriously. I do arm windmills every day, just to stretch out my shoulders. I do them slow and controlled so I don't injure myself. Another really good way to do it is to sit on the floor. Whenever you're reading or watching TV or working on something, even scrolling, sit on the floor sometimes. I don't care if you need a cushion or padding. Yeah, make yourself comfortable. But sitting in the floor forces you to put your body into positions that'll stretch it out. I think it actually feels good once you settle into it. And there's many ways that you can do it. You can sit cross-legged, you can kneel. There's no wrong way to do it. And we don't want to find ourselves prematurely in a position to where we can't get ourselves off of the floor. So just practicing with it all the time keeps that skill activated within us. In mobility, this hits really close to home for me as well. I watched my mom in her mid-70s start to lose more and more mobility with each year. And now she's forced to have to get around using a scooter. Now, I don't know if she could have prevented this by doing the things I'm talking about right now, but maybe she could have delayed it. But seeing that gives me just a little bit more internal motivation. Number 5 is mind and mastery. We need to stock up on as much knowledge as we can. Never before in history has so much knowledge been so available, and most of it so free. Entertainment is fun, but if we're not careful, we can stream ourselves into oblivion. Stockpile knowledge on finances, health, technology, not just for curiosity, but for survival in a fast-changing world. It is crucial, especially in our 50s, to have whatever edge we can find regarding money and health. The world is busy luring us into a state of hopelessness when it comes to these two topics. And when it comes to technology, we have to stock up now because we can literally blink and find ourselves behind. And even if you want to stay old school, stay informed if for no other reason than to protect yourself online and digitally. The sixth thing that we need to stockpile in our 50s is a maintenance mindset. Whether it's your home, your car, or your body, they all need care now to avoid expensive problems later. I mean, we're old enough and experienced enough to know how things can snowball. And maintenance, it usually involves time and money, and sometimes a lot of it. But if you plan on keeping your car and your home for the long haul, staying on top of its problems, it's not optional. And when it comes to your body, healthy maintenance now pays off huge in your 60s and 70s. Small daily changes become your new normal before you know it. Okay, the seventh thing we need to stockpile in our 50s is morality. Now, this isn't about me telling you what is right or wrong. It's about you strengthening your values and your inner compass. Now, for me, that comes from my Christian faith. But for you, it might be something different. Everyone needs an inner force that guides them. Now, I looked this up. Here's the definition of morality. It's a set of principles, values, and beliefs about what is right and wrong, good and bad, just and unjust. Now, how do you stock up on morality? You can strengthen it or bolster it with increased discipline and conviction. If we decide now in our 50s that we're going to be a force for good, the world can get better one person at a time. And your life will feel and be more peaceful when your actions match your beliefs. So there you have it, the 7 things that you need to start stockpiling now in your 50s. Years from now, you'll be extremely grateful that you increased your efforts and discipline in your 50s to help make the rest of your life as strong and sweet as possible. The good news is that it's actually never too late to start building any of them. And many of these things that I mentioned, I know they're diminishing as we age, but we still have a lot that we can build upon. You can think of yourself in your 20s or your 30s, and you may have some things that you wished you had done differently. Well, that's going to be us. In our 70s, we're going to look back and say, I wish I had done some things different in my 50s when I had the chance. Just pick one of these to start on this week, and then add more of them as you go. Which one is your priority? Let me know in the comments. It really helps the channel reach more Gen Xers. But don't let it stop here. I've got another video right here where I talk about the biggest fears of aging and how to deal with them. Check it out. I hope you have a totally awesome week ahead. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.